Hey, everybody. Glad you're here. Most of you know who I am and what I do, but for those of you that are new, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and I'm coming to you live from an undisclosed location deep in the heartland of America, straight to your heart with information that can help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. Information that can help you unindoctrinate yourself. What the heck's the Christian Whistleblower? Well, I'm shining light into the dark corners of orthodoxy and exposing the dominant religious paradigm. We're here to kick ass and take names. The world will never be the same. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel. Glad to have you here tonight. I messed up. We were scheduled to have Dan Manson of Star Trek, Star Wars with us tonight. We will have him, but I forgot to remind him because we scheduled him several weeks ago, and he booked another engagement. He's actually in L.A., so Dan won't be with us tonight, but we have rescheduled Dan, so never fear. And that was my fault for not being as professional as I should have been, but that's okay. You live and you learn, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hard knock life sometimes. You just got to keep going and keep growing and just getting better and better and better. Not getting bitter, but getting better, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight, it's kind of a fill-in, but not really, because I was thinking about doing this anyway. It was just a matter of time when we were going to do it. It'll be the first time we've ever done a combined show, ladies and gentlemen. And this combined show is brought to you from my great friends at Hero Soap. Let freedom clean. Go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the American flag logo, and you can get a great discount. Hero Soap, Let Freedom Clean, and Verve Organic CBD oil, veteran-owned and operated. Great for post-traumatic stress, anxiety, sleep, pain, and epilepsy. Verve CBD, again, go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the logo. Get a great discount. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do two things tonight. Number one, we're going to look at NASA's first mission patch, and we're going to do an analysis of it. When I was at NASA, I didn't work for NASA, but I went over there and visited. I bought this book, which is the Mission Patch Handbook, and it has all of the mission patches that they've ever had for human spaceflight. So we've got all those mission patches. We're going to go through them, and we're going to look at them. And as we look at the mission patch, we'll also segue into talking about the reincarnation wheel and why it is absolutely imperative that you get off the reincarnation wheel. So thanks to Hero Soap and Verb for this first segment of Podcast Excellence. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the NASA patch for the first mission. And, of course, it is the one that is behind me. And I'm going to show it to you on the screen fully so you can be able to get a good look at it. It's quite colorful. Someone said it looks like a child drew it, but they're supposed to be. Doggone it. That's not the one I wanted. We'll go to another source because I know I got a better sized one than that, because I did it on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. Made it to be a big size. Let's see where that big size one is. That's not it either. Wow. Never fear, folks. I will assist you, and we will get to where we want to go with the patch that we want to see, because I just found it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first NASA patch. This is the first NASA manned flight. And here it is, the first NASA patch. Let's analyze this patch. Let's take a look at this patch, and let's see what we can find out about it. The background of this mission says that, geez, it's what it says. It says in little itty bitty letters. So I've got to go ahead and put on my glasses. So astronaut Alan Shepard was the first American in space. The name of his spacecraft, Freedom 7, reflected the political times. This flight came 3 weeks after the Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin carried out the first orbital space flight. And this patch depicts the mission. The Mercury capsule landed in the Atlantic Ocean after a 15-minute flight. That's interesting, 15-minute flight. So this was the Freedom 7. It occurred May 5th, 1961. And the launch vehicle was called the Redstone, and the crew was a crew of one, Alan B. Shepard Jr. So let's take a look at this, folks, and let's analyze this patch if we can. And the first thing that kind of struck me was that it was called Mercury. And I started thinking about Mercury and, knowing what we know now, Apollo was to follow. So I automatically started thinking Mercury. I started thinking of the Mercury god, the god Mercury. And what does the god Mercury stand for? What does the god Mercury, what's he all about? That's the dude with the wings on his feet. So Mercury is a major god in Roman religion. Why isn't that surprising, ladies and gentlemen, that the NASA program would have as its first mission a name deeply steeped within the Roman religion? I've been trying to tell you for almost 8 years in one form or another that we are in a fear and guilt control matrix that is run by Roman religion. All roads lead to Rome. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all roads lead to Rome. If you are any part of that, you're not going home. You're going to Rome. So we're trying to separate you from that. Unindoctrination isn't just about religion. Unindoctrination is about culture. Unindoctrination is about politics. Unindoctrination is about finance. Unindoctrination is about government. And it all goes back to Rome, the very basis of even the space program, ladies and gentlemen. Roman religion. It's stunning. It's staggering. But when you think about it, it just makes sense. It really does. It shouldn't be such a surprise to us. But let's listen to more about this god. And we're just looking at Mercury now. Mercury. He's the god of making money. Imagine that. How many billions of dollars have been spent on NASA? And what do we have to show for it? I'm just asking the questions here, ladies and gentlemen. He's also the god of eloquence. He's the god of messaging. He's the god of communication, including divination. All of these things wrapped up into this name, Mercury. Also, ladies and gentlemen, he's the god of travelers, the god of boundaries, the god of trickery and thieves, and he also guides souls to the underworld, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not making this up. He's the daughter of Atlas and Jupiter, and if you know anything about the space program, Atlas and Jupiter figure prominently in the names of these craft that they use and the rockets that they use, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? Mercury is also connected to the ideas of boundaries and of borders. Mercury is called in Greek the keeper of boundaries. Let that sink in just for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Mercury is called the keeper of boundaries. Wow. He is a bridge between the upper and the lower worlds, supposedly, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting. And he's often pictured holding the caduceus in his left hand. You know what the caduceus is? It's that staff that has the two snakes climbing up it, the staff that is being used as the symbol for the medical profession, ladies and gentlemen. So right off the bat, we got Mercury. And to me, that just says, wow, I don't know about that. So let's look and say some other things about this. Mercury 3. It's the first mission. Why is it called Mercury 3? I don't get it. Mercury 3. Well, what is a 3? And then we got 3 right here too, don't we? 3 lines, 3 arcs, ladies and gentlemen. What if, ladies and gentlemen, This 3 is referring to the 3-dimensional trap that we're in. What if these 3 lines represent the 3-dimensional trap that we're in? And if you notice, this capsule isn't going out to space. It's not going in orbit. It's just going up and coming down, going up and coming down, going up and coming down. It's just making a parabola. It's not going into space. It's not going into orbit. Is it another reminder of 3D? Folks, I'm convinced that this concept of Trinity that is brought to us and fostered upon us by Christianity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, it's a ghost. That should scare you. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That is a bastardized representation of the 3D trap that we're in. The Trinity is 3D. 3 strikes you're out, says KT Emma. 3, Trinity. Again, Roman God. Roman concept of Trinity. 3, Trinity. 3 lines. Ladies and gentlemen, they're telling us that we are trapped in a 3D control matrix. Fear, guilt, control. That's 3-2, isn't it? That's 3-2, isn't it? And if you look at the capsule, look at that capsule. What does that capsule look like? That capsule looks like a cage. And is that a representation of just a generic person trapped in a cage? I'm just saying what it looks like to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cage. And something's trapped in it. And the ubiquitous 3, I don't know. It just makes me wonder, ladies and gentlemen. It just makes me wonder. And then the name shepherd. What immediately comes to my mind is, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I'll just do whatever he tells me. He leads me beside still waters. Still waters are deep. I'm a sheep. If I fall into still waters, I'm dead. I'll go to the bottom just like that. Why does a good shepherd lead a sheep next to still waters? Why does a good shepherd prepare your food in the presence of your enemies? You can't even have a decent meal. Why does a good shepherd lead you through the valley of the shadow of death? To keep you under fear, to keep you under guilt, to keep you under control, ladies and gentlemen. Am I crazy? I don't know if I'm crazy, but these are some of the things that I see in this depiction, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Shepard could be very easily morphed into alien, right? I'm just saying. And if you believe the Bible, the shepherd, the good shepherd, the Lord is an alien because he came from somewhere else and made this place. So he is an alien. And is this an attempt by the aliens to break the boundaries and get out of this place they've been stuck in? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. And what are they looking for? They're looking for freedom times 7. They're looking for freedom times 7. They know they're stuck in a 3D matrix. They're taking full advantage of the 3D matrix. They're tricking. They're communicating. They're trying to break through a border. They want to lead us and guide us to places that aren't good for us. It's a cage. They don't even go up into orbit. They just go up and come down. Is it trickery, which is inherent within Mercury itself? And you know the little cipher that I do? The little Atlanta cipher, named after the person that showed it to me. What it does is it takes a word, and I'm going to write down freedom. And if you apply the Atlanta cipher to freedom, what you would do is take, and I can't see what I'm doing, so let me stop the share. You would take the word freedom, and in the Atlanta cipher, you take the word off the beginning of, you take the letter off the beginning of the word. I didn't just disappear. You take the letter off the beginning of the word. So you got just freedom, and then what you do is you put that letter on the end of the word. And it's not always a what it sounds like thing. Sometimes it's a visual thing. And this cipher I found to be pretty interesting. So what does that look like to you? Freedom becomes redumph. But if you just imagine a little bit, you can imagine that last F to be sort of an E, and now you've got redome. Just something to think about. Redome. Redome, redo, redome, dome. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what I see in the NASA patch from their first mission. That's just what I see. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally stupid, and some people will confirm that for you. A lot of opinions out there, and opinions are like feet. Everybody has at least two, and most of them stink. Opinions are like other parts of the body too, but we won't go into that. So that's the Mercury 7, the first NASA patch analysis by your friendly Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty. There's the patch. You can decide whether I know what I'm talking about or not. It's speculative. It's fun. It's interesting. Before we move on to part 2, let's see if we have any good questions about that apply to this first thing that we talked about. The patch does look like a child drew it. People are asking how the rods did on Sunday. Every Sunday show of the Threes Wild, the NFL show, will recap last week's results. So you won't know until Sunday. That's a teaser to get you to tune in. So let's see. The Infant Genius has been on my mind. Yes, it's really good stuff. What's up, gods and goddesses? I checked out all the mission patches. They have a lot of sigils on them. Absolutely, they have a lot of sigils on them. That's from Jason Rios. What else do we have? Any questions? Well, just a lot of commentary, not any real questions that I see so far, and that's okay. They just wanted to prove there was no glass ceiling. Laugh out loud. Greetings from Croatia. Nice to see you, Zulu 69. Commerce, travel, and thievery. All meanings of Mercury. Messenger of the Roman gods. Rome conquered the old world, and the Vatican has all the history tucked away. Yes, it does. Cynthia says we need a complete self-reset. I agree 100%. I remember hearing the Russians got the propulsion scientist and the Americans got the guidance navigation scientist. That's interesting. Mercury is the messenger shepherd god. Ooh, good stuff, Tracy Dyer. Mercury is the messenger shepherd god. Mercury, just like the god of the Bible, equating himself. Anunnaki says that Mercury is Thoth. That's speculative, but thanks for sharing your opinion. We appreciate that. Ironically, the god of commerce and thieves. That is ironic. You always want to work both ends of it when you can, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Wednesday is Mercury's day. That's interesting as well. Lisa Gallant says, boom, wow, Earth is the third planet from the sun. Very, very interesting. Can't escape the firmament. Is that possibly one of the statements of this patch? Maybe. The number 33, I can see where you would say that as well. Absolutely. Does look like a cage, says Pamela Jean. Looks like a padded cell, says King of Kings. Very, very good. Trinity in every religion, it is that concept. Shane loves a good conspiracy theory. Let's see. It's a puppet on a string. Oh, I see that. I like that. It is puppets on a string. We're all in cages, and we're all puppets on a string. T.L. Clark offers that Earth is a closed system. Is it? Wow, that's interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It's interesting stuff. Keep researching, says Ryan in North Carolina. Jason Rio says it's the symbol of Mercury with a 7 enclosed in it, with a line coming down off the Mercury symbol, then blocked off. Interesting stuff. It is interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. It really is. Isn't the planet that spins different from the others? I don't know. It's just interesting, folks. So we will image all the patches, but not today. That's the end of this part. Now, let's talk about, if we can, Let's talk about the reincarnation wheel, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to talk about the reincarnation wheel because I think this kind of relates to it. I think this kind of alludes to it. This Mercury patch that we're looking at sort of alludes to it. And I want to talk about the reincarnation wheel, and I want to talk about the concept of reincarnation itself, if we can, because reincarnation, ladies and gentlemen, comes from the concept of what is called samsara in the Eastern religions, the Indian religions. Reincarnation, the idea that you come back and you come back and you come back. And I'm becoming more convinced that it's very, very dangerous. And the great religions want you coming back so they can control you. And you've got to break that reincarnation wheel. And here's why. Let's just look at the facts of what reincarnation is. Reincarnation is a belief in the Eastern religions, is where its origin is. And it comes from this idea of samsara or samsara. And samsara is a word that means wandering, cyclic, circuitous change in wandering, the cyclicality of all life and matter and existence. And it's a fundamental assumption of religions: transmigration, karmic cycle, reincarnation. And it is basically a cycle of aimless drifting, aimless wandering, and mundane existence, ladies and gentlemen. And that is exactly what they want you to think. Don't be so fast, Wendy, to say that the Easterners had the shit figured out. They just figured out a different way to present shit, to keep you in the shit. The Bible is shit, dung. And the Eastern religions may be just as much shit, because what they're trying to do is invent this idea of reincarnation to keep you in a cycle of aimless drifting, according to their own words, to keep you in a cycle of aimless wandering, to keep you in a cycle of mundane existence. Mundane means not spiritual. Mundane means not spiritual. So the idea of reincarnation has within it, as at its very core, aimless, driftless, listless, drifting and wandering, mundane existence. Material Classified said it: trap and control. We get this idea in the new age, new cage, new rage that reincarnation is a wonderful thing. Reincarnation is a powerful thing. Reincarnation is a great thing. Reincarnation, we should be celebrating it, when in fact we should be fearing reincarnation. Because reincarnation is just aimless wandering by its own admission. It's drifting by its own admission. And it's mundane by its own admission. Marlies, guten Abend. Tschüss. Little Deutsch in the evening never hurt anybody. So let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you believe that you are a spiritual being? Do you believe you're a spiritual being? Okay, you do. Do you believe that you're a spiritual being having a bodily experience right now? Great, you do. So if you're truly a spiritual being, does it make any sense that you would have to come into a physical meat suit in order to develop spiritually? Makes no sense whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. But why does Christianity, Roman Catholicism, Roman Protestantism, why does those big religions in the West and apparently the big religion in the East want to keep you coming back into this meat suit? As Pamela Jean says, why do they want to keep us imprisoned in the body? Because they want to feed off of our energy. They want to use us and abuse us. They want to keep us in the cage. They want to keep us in the 3D fear and guilt control matrix. And in the West, they use the idea of original sin. You're born with original sin. You need salvation. We've got the only Savior. That's how they lock you in the West. But some of us get so enlightened And maybe we're just crazy instead of enlightened. We get so enlightened that we leave the Western religion. We go to the Eastern religion. And we say, oh, it's not original sin. We'll just go reincarnate. And we don't mind coming back and reincarnating over and over and over and over because we're working out our karma. We're working out our karma. Ladies and gentlemen, karma is just an Eastern word for original sin. Karma is just Indian for we got you locked in, cousin. Look at what karma means, ladies and gentlemen. And I know that I am busting paradigms. I said that's what I do. I know I'm shining light into the dark corners of orthodoxy. I told you that's what I do. What does karma mean? Karma means actions, works, deeds. It refers to the spiritual principle where of cause and effect, where intent and actions of an individual influence the future that individual comes back to. Good deeds contribute to good karma and happier rebirths. Bad intent and bad deeds contribute to bad karma and bad rebirths. Do you notice the common denominator there? Rebirth. Even if you're good, if you believe in karma, you're going to be reborn. Why does a spirit have to be reborn in a meat suit to develop? It doesn't. It's a trap. The philosophy of karma closely associated with the idea of rebirth. Present affects one's future in the current life as well as the nature and quality of future lives. Do you see? And again, it's back to samsara, reincarnation. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see what's being done here? We want to pat ourselves on the back for leaving behind Western religion and the ideas of original sin. Some of you aren't even past original sin yet. You still talk of crosses. You still talk of saviors. You still talk of blood. You still talk of salvation. You still talk of atonement. You still talk of carrying your cross. You're still not even out of the Western fear and guilt control matrix. But when you do manage to extricate yourself sort of from the Western fear and guilt control matrix, you jump right into the Eastern fear and guilt control matrix of karma. Original sin is a lie. You don't have original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. Karma is a lie. You don't bring it with you. Drop it. Drop your karma. Get out of your karma. And get out of your original sin. It's not yours. Karma is the Eastern version of the Western concept of original sin, and both original sin and karma are meant to keep you locked in the 3D fear and guilt control matrix. It's as plain as day, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at it objectively. When you look at it objectively, ladies and gentlemen. And the end, ladies and gentlemen, the end of reincarnation, in Eastern terms, it has a name. It's called moksha. It refers, as you see here on the screen momentarily, it refers to coming to emancipation, coming to enlightenment, coming to liberation, and coming to release. In its soteriological means salvation. So see, incumbent in the East, just as incumbent in the West, is this idea that you're lost and you got to have salvation. Salvation is what locks you in, cousins. This idea of salvation needs to be completely blotted from your mind, and anybody that talks about you needing salvation needs to be completely blotted from your watching habits, from your viewing habits, from your reading habits, from your going to conference habits. If they believe in salvation, you ought to stay the hell away from them. Because you don't need salvation. If you need salvation, it's your admittance that you're sinful, that you got bad karma. No. Let that shit go. Eschatological, you know what eschatology is? End times. But moksha means freedom from samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. freedom from ignorance through self-realization, self-actualization, and self-knowledge. They're admitting to you, they've got you locked into this idea of samsara, reincarnation, original sin. But when you realize, I don't have original sin, I've got the spark of divinity within, I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free, and I don't have karma. I've left my karma at the curb, and I've said no to original sin and claimed the divinity that is within. Then you can get into what they call moksha, self-realization, self-actualization, self-knowledge, freedom from ignorance. Everybody else out there almost on YouTube is preaching some form of ignorance to you. They're preaching some form of ignorance to you, some form of guilt, some form of fear, some form of control, ladies and gentlemen. What am I preaching to you? Gospel, good news. Not that you can be free, but that you are free, ladies and gentlemen. And freedom in the Eastern sense speaks of this word nirvana, the ultimate state of soteriological release, meaning the release from the need of salvation and the liberation from repeated birth in samsara. And I'm going to show you Christians believe in samsara too. Jesus believes in samsara. Jesus wants to lock you into a samsara deal. And so many of you have accepted the deal and you've accepted samsara. I'm trying to offer you life and more abundant. I'm trying to offer you peace that passes all understanding. I'm trying to offer you a way off the wheel, a way of soteriological release, salvation. You won't need salvation anymore once you realize you don't have original sin. You won't need salvation anymore once you realize you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You won't need to carry your freaking cross anymore. It's so stupid. Once you have release and liberation, and you won't have to come back here again once you have this understanding, and you've got to stop coming back in here again, because sooner or later you won't be able to get out. And we're going to talk about that in the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. In the conclusion of this, ladies and gentlemen, it's so very important. It's so very powerful. I can't overestimate it to you. And let me show you that Christianity has its own little ideas as well of karma and soteriology, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a quick look at a couple of quick verses here. Let me pull them up for you. Let's go to Bible Hub real fast. And we'll bring these out to you, and you'll be able to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let's look at this. Let's look at Matthew chapter 18 for a minute. Matthew chapter 18, and this circles back to what we talked about this afternoon, which is really cool when things do that. Matthew chapter 18, verses 2 and 3, ladies and gentlemen, look at what this says, and I'm going to show it to you here. Let me move it over here where I'll be able to show it to you, and you'll be able to see it. Whoops. Bible Hub either changed the way it works or it just works. It's working really, really weird today, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, Matthew 18 is talking to us about breaking out of this idea that Christianity is foisted upon us of learning these deeper truths and these deeper doctrines and getting back to the place where we are like little children. Going back to what Wayne and I talked about on Sunday, we come into this world as children, pure, powerful, all-knowing, all-understanding. And by the time we've been indoctrinated for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we think we know it all, and we don't know anything. We've talked ourselves out of everything that we do know. So if you really want to understand the kingdom of heaven, then you need to be converted, which means you need to change your mind and go back to the place where you were a little child, where you understood that the emperor was naked, where you could look at things and see, this is just wrong. It doesn't make any sense. How can I have original sin when I just got born? How can I need salvation? And how can some guy's blood wash me clean? How can going down to an altar and giving my soul to somebody and asking them to possess me, how can that make me free? How can eating somebody's flesh and drinking somebody's blood make me free? It's weird. How can they say I got to come back again and again and again in order into this body in order to purify my spirit? It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Kids can see it. Kids will say, no, that doesn't make no damn sense. They might not say damn, but they'd say, no, it doesn't make any sense. So we've got to humble ourselves, realize that we have been sold a bill of goods and we bought it. We bought a pig in a poke. We're stupid. We've been allowed them to lie to us, cheat us, and steal from us. Be converted, change our minds, go back to that which we knew as children, and that will help us and allow us to enter into the kingdom of heaven. I also wrote down this verse here in Mark. What was I thinking about here in Mark chapter 10, verse 15? What does that one say, ladies and gentlemen? Mark 10, 15. Let's see. I don't know what it said. It said, verily, verily, you can't receive the kingdom unless you become a little child. You've got to get back to that little child understanding, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to get back to that little child understanding. But where Christianity has taken us, let me show you where Christianity has taken us. And we've shown you that the Eastern religions want to take us to the same place through karma. Where has Christianity taken us? They've taken us to this place. Corinthians 13:11. We were children. We spoke as children. We understood as children. And we just understand from the verses we just read that that's a good thing. When we were a child, we spoke as a child in childlike purity. We understood with childlike purity. We reasoned with childlike purity. But somewhere along the line, we've left the childlike purity. And we've become a man. We've become a woman. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a grown-ass woman. And we put away the childish things. And now, because we become a man, we now see darkly and dimly. But then when we were childlike, we saw face to face. Now we are great if we get a little piece of it. But then when we thought as a child and acted like a child, we knew, we understood, and faith and hope and love abided when we were children and childlike. But now we're all grown up and we understand doctrine and we've received downloads, we've received information. We put away all those childish things like faith, hope, and charity. And now we're so damn smart that we've thought ourselves into a 3D fear and guilt control matrix. And we're happy to come back again. What the hell is wrong with us, ladies and gentlemen? And I told you I'd show you where Christianity has their own karma and their own reincarnation. And I'm hoping I can remember where it is. I'm hoping I can remember where it is. I think it's here. I think it's here. I think it's here. Yes, here it is. Here's the deal that you guys have accepted. Here's the deal that you guys have accepted. And I think it's right down. Let me just pop off here a minute. I think I cut it out for you so it's easier to read. Here's the deal that you've accepted, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the deal that you've accepted. I think here's the deal that you've accepted. Here's the deal that you've accepted right here. Here's Christian reincarnation. Here's Christian karma. Here's the deal that you've accepted and the deal that you've locked yourself into and the deal that you've got to get out of. But if the spirit of him that raised Jesus up from the dead dwell in you, if you go down to the altar and sell your soul, I give you my soul, Jesus. I give you my soul, Father. That's called selling your soul anywhere else. And if you say, Jesus, come live in my heart, Father, come live in my heart, that's called being possessed by two spirits anywhere else. And by the way, the rules of their game is that any spirit can bring at least 7 more just like it. So you really, oh, please come in and possess me, spirit. entity Jesus. Please come in and possess me, entity Father. Everywhere else you ask entities to come in and possess you, it's bad, it's wrong, don't do it. But all of a sudden, you do it in a church in front of a symbol of ancient torture, and it's okay. You ask a guy to cover you with his blood, and you bring in 2 entities into you. So that means you've got 1, 2 plus 7, 7, 4. You got 16 entities in you now. Some might even call that legion. Oh, religion. Well, you need to get religion. You need to get religion. You need to get refilled of demons because when you became like a little child, you got rid of them. So now they got to religion you. Religion. Dudes, it doesn't get any plainer than this. So if that spirit, the Father, the Son that you asked to come live in your heart with 14 other people, 14 other entities, you got religioned. If that spirit dwells in you, he that raised up Christ, the Father, will also quicken your mortal body by his spirit that dwells in you. Oh, great. I get to live forever. I get eternal life. Read the contract. It's your mortal body that gets resurrected. This, you're locking yourself into a reincarnation wheel. Bring me back into a mortal body, even though I'm an immortal spirit. That's the contract you've signed. That's the blood oath that you've sworn with those 2 entities and their 14 friends. Holy shit, Batman. Yeah, you did that. Christian reincarnation. You're going to come back again and again and again in a mortal body. You'll get free of a mortal body. You'll be an immortal spirit, and then whoop, back you come because you've agreed to a contract. Through original sin, through reincarnation, whatever you call it, west, east. And you're pulled back into a mortal body again and again and again and again. Why? So they can feed off of you. You think you're eating Jesus, but the truth is he's eating you, cousin. You have communion once a week, depending on where you go, once a day, depending on where you go, once a year, depending on where you go. Jesus takes a bite of you every day. Jesus takes a drink of you every day. The Father, the Son, they're just entities possessing you like every other entity. They're possessing you so they can continue to live. They say that in them you have life. Wrong, cousin. In you, they have life. Stop feeding them. They'll die. They're vampires. They're zombies. They're liches. And it's all right there in their own words, ladies and gentlemen. But why do they want you to keep coming back in a mortal body? Well, number one, because they need to feed off you to stay alive, but it's even more nefarious than that. Have you ever made a copy? Go to a copy machine, and your work will hate you for this because it burns up toner, but go to a copy machine, make a copy. Take a document and make a copy of it. You know, take, I got a ticket here from the casino. Take that and make a copy of it. The Saints -7. Make a copy of that. And then make another copy. But wait a minute. Don't use the original that I gave you. Make a copy from the copy that you made. And then make another copy from the copy that you made, and another copy from the copy that you made, and another copy from the copy that you made, and another copy from the copy that you made. Guess what happens? The quality of the copies declines incrementally. What do you think happens to you when you come back? And you come back, and you come back, and you come back, and you come back. You're degrading. And the day will come back. The day will come when you come so many times that you can't make a copy of it anymore. It's all white. It degrades. It goes away. It disintegrates into nothingness. How many times does it take? I don't know. But I know by looking at the progression, sooner or later, if you keep allowing them to bring you back through salvation because of original sin or through karma, if you let these religious people from the West bring you back, if you let these religious people from the East bring you back, sooner or later, if you let them bring your mortal spirit back into mortal bodies, copies, sooner or later, you're out of toner. Sooner or later, you're blank. It's not blank on the back. Sooner or later, you're blank. And when you're blank, you no longer exist. They've extracted everything they can from you. Everything they can from you. And you no longer exist, ladies and gentlemen. And I know it's crazy. I know it's weird, but that's kind of what that patch behind me showed. Keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back into the cage. And then sooner or later, you're just nothing. And they rule you and they control you. This is, ladies and gentlemen, what they teach you. This is what they show you. And I want to show you, I think, one more thing. Let me see, to kind of tie the bow on it. I want to tie the bow on it. I want to check this and see if I'm talking past the close. I don't think I am, but I'm going to take a look-see here. Real quick, just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Hebrews chapter 5. Now, you know this is some bullshit just from the name of it, right? Hebrews chapter 5, verse number 12. What does it say? Damn it, I don't want that. I hope you haven't changed the way you work, Bible Hub, because you really suck now, and not in a good way. Hebrews 5:12. Oh, here it is. This is kind of going back. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this be. I'm gonna leave that be. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so easy to see what they're trying to pull on us. It's so easy to see how they're trying to trick us. I don't know if NASA is, but it kind of looks like it from that patch, and we'll look at the rest of the patches. But folks, you got to get off the reincarnation wheel. Reincarnation's not helping you. It's hurting you, and it will eventually destroy you. You will cease to be. They're tricking you. They're using you. It's like the guy that cheats on you, ladies, and you take him back, and he cheats on you again, and you take him back, and he cheats on you again, and you take him back, and he cheats on you again, and you take him back. He cheats on you again, you take him back. You wind up with AIDS, and you die. Well, Jeff, that's a really dark analogy. It's the same thing. You keep coming back. You're immortal. You can make immortality. You keep coming back. You make immortality. You keep coming back. You make immortality. You keep coming back. The copy gets worse and worse and worse, and it ceases to exist. That's you. That's you. You're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. But eventually, if you keep copy, you disintegrate and you go back and fertilize the astral realm, for lack of a better term. That's what your salvation in Jesus, that's what your cross guarantees you. Break that deal. I cancel my salvation deal with Jesus and the Father. I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free. I'm out of that deal. I cancel it. I drop my original sin. I'm filled with the spark of divinity within. I cancel the deal I made with Jesus. I cancel the deal I made with the Father. I cancel my sinner's prayer. I renounce it. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. I renounce the idea of coming back in reincarnation. I drop my karma at the curb. I'm no longer subject to your concept of karma. I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free. I'm a spiritual being, and I will develop as a spiritual being in my immortal spiritual form. I'm not coming back here anymore to feed you blood-sucking bed bugs. I'm done. Remember rule number 1, don't take shit from nobody. And you're taking it from the West, and you're taking it from the East. Stop taking it. Get the hell out of here and go on to where you're supposed to be. Go on to who you're supposed to be. Go on to what you're supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen. Vampires gives them too much credit. I think I'm going to start calling them bed bugs. I think bed bugs suck blood too, don't they? What do bed bugs do? Bed bugs are brownish insects that live on the blood of animals and humans. I'm not calling them vampires anymore. A vampire is too good for these disgusting entities. I'm not calling them vampires anymore. They're not vampires anymore, ladies and gentlemen. They are bed bugs. They are bed bugs. We don't call them vampires anymore. We call them bed bugs because that's what they are. They're dirty, creepy, little crawly bed bugs. You're not vampires. You're a damn bed bug. Irrelevant, insignificant bed bugs. Bible, bed bugs. Blood, bed bugs. I'm done. I'm finished. It's over. I'm done with lies from the West. I'm done with lies from the East. I'm done with coming back into this mortal body. I'm done with them making copies off of me. I'm done with them bed bug feeding off of me. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. And I have taken back my sovereignty. How about you? I can't do it for you. You have to decide. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got for you tonight. Jesus is a bed bug. The Father is a bed bug. And they both suck. They can't live without you. Jesus is a bed bug. The Father is a bed bug. And I'm the exterminator. Let's play. Let's play. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This show has been brought to you by my friends at StemLight. If you are having chronic health problems, how about thinking about stem cells? They are showing miraculous efficacy on many things. If you want to know if they can help you, go to my website, click on the StemSite logo, talk to the great people at StemLight, and get a 20% discount. If you're a physician that understands the efficaciousness of stem cell therapy and you want to work with the team that works with the National Football League Alumni Association, go to southernstem.com. In both cases, if you want help or if you want to help your patients, use the word heal, ladies and gentlemen. Heal, like Ernest Angley. Heal. Remember that. And it's also brought to you by our great friends at Focus Life Force Energy. A more nurturing environment can be yours. It's free. Go to my website. Click on the FLFE fluffy logo. 15 days in your home, 15 days on your cell phone. You can't beat it. Verve CBD oil, it's the best. StemLight, Fluffy, Mistech. Folks, we're here to help you, and we're here to really help you improve your life while you're here. And we're here to help you get the hell out and be the being that you really are. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Remember, folks, history is written by the winners. No problem. Let's get busy winning today and write a better tomorrow. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower.